Welcome back to another episode of Sim Sunday, and this is probably going to be one of the most interesting approaches we've ever made on the channel. Today we're in Indira Gandhi International Airport in Delhi, the capital city of India, where the Real Airbus pilot is in control of the flight factor Airbus A320 in Xplane 11, where he's about to attempt one of the most difficult approaches you could make in a tube liner. And that means, guys, that the Real Airbus pilot is about to fly from here in Delhi to Paro in Bhutan, a small country nestled in the Himalayan Mountain range. The Real Airbus pilot tells me that there are only 17 pilots in the world certified to make this approach. It's not an approach that I've ever tried in FSX or prepared, so it will be very interesting to see how he gets on. So let's jump right into the cockpit of this flight factor Airbus A320 in Xplane 11 and get this extremely interesting approach underway. And of course, just after pushback, the Real Airbus pilot is checking all of the flight services are free and easy before taxiing to the runway, which today will be runway 29, all 14,530 feet of it. So a lovely long runway to get this little Airbus off the deck.
Bhutan 800, contact tower on 118.10.
Contact tower on 118.10. Royal Bhutan 800. Tower Royal Bhutan 800.
Royal Bhutan 800, fly heading 280, runway 29, you're cleared for takeoff.
Fly heading 280, runway 29, Royal Bhutan 800.
Approaching 29. On runway 29.
So there you go, guys, another super smooth departure by the Real Airbus pilot, putting my departures clearly to shame. And just like in Prepared, the Real Airbus pilot in Xplane is following ATC to join his flight plan to Paro. And as you can see, he's already switching off the landing lights and clearing the auto spoiler. Okay, as we prepare to make our approach into Paro, the Real Airbus pilot is showing us the Jeppesen charts, and he tells me this is called a cloud break procedure, which basically means that the approach plan gets the aircraft to as low to the ground as it can safely before a visual approach to the runway can begin. So for the most difficult approach in the world, and therefore this approach into Paro in Bhutan, means that the pilots must have a visual reference on the runway at 3,000 feet above the runway. However, as you will see shortly as the Real Airbus pilot makes his approach into Paro, this is easier said than done, because the runway is simply hidden behind terrain. The Real Airbus pilot was telling me that the visual references that you use on this approach into Paro are basically roads and rivers. So I guess that basic VFR flying is no different from an Airbus than a Cessna. Before undertaking this flight in Xplane, the Real Airbus pilot also did a lot of research. He managed to get hold of some approach plates and even watched a couple of videos, including one produced by the chief pilot from Air Bhutan making this approach in real life. And as I've said many times in real life, I personally get no experience of Xplane, but the Real Airbus pilot is telling me, based on the video he watched and this particular flight in Xplane, he says that the scenery is pretty darn accurate. However, making any visual approach, especially one as complicated as this in Flight Simulator on a PC, you're attempting to do it in only 2 dimensions. If you can imagine being in the cockpit for real, or even in a professional training simulator, the ability to keep a constant lookout straight ahead, but also using your peripheral vision, makes an absolute world of difference. So as the Real Airbus pilot breaks through the cloud layer, I'm going to shut up and let you enjoy his approach into Paro, the world's most difficult approach.
Retard. Retard.
5,000 feet remaining.
If we look at this approach again from a plane spotter's view on a hill above the airport, you will hopefully appreciate how tough the job is for any pilot making this approach into Paro. The terrain is one thing weaving in and out of the hillsides, but doing it at nearly 200 miles an hour, with the runway obscured until the last minute, and then considering that the Real Airbus pilot did this all in 2 dimensions, tells me that this approach can only be made by the professionals. As the Real Airbus pilot weaves his way through the last hill and lines up to land on runway 33 here at Paro, just look at the actual speed, the energy that he's got to lose when he finally touches down. And it's no wonder that the brakes were screaming at him during his rollout. But of course, being the professional he is, the Real Airbus pilot makes it look so easy. And with that, we've come to the end of another Sim Sunday and another in our Interesting Approaches series. In the next episode, we head to South America, where I make a complete mess of landing a GOL PMDG 737-800 at the tiny city centre airport at Rio de Janeiro. So until then, fly safe, and thank you very much for watching.